The little girl Elizabeth was brought to the cinema by her mother, also an actress. Having put an end to her career, the woman decided to focus on the career of her daughter and did not miss. Since 1943 she was only 11 years old and almost to the end of 90s. Pictures with her participation were released annually. Directors did not immediately begin to give her major roles, not having discerned her talent behind the beautiful appearance. Taylor's gaze has always had a special charm and expressiveness. The actress was lucky. In addition to a very rare eye shade, lavender purple, she had a rare mutation, a double row of eyelashes. In the film industry, Elizabeth began to be called Liz from the first take, because Taylor coped with everything from the first time. As a result, the actress won 3 Oscars during her career, one of which was for her role in the film Butterfield, 8. Although Taylor herself assessed her role in it as the most terrible in her life. Legendary for the actress was the role in the film Cleopatra. At that time, she was already very tired of filming and did not want to film anymore. To politely refuse the role, she said that she would be filmed only if she was paid $1 million. Producers unexpectedly agreed to such a fee, making her the highest paid actress in the world. In the 60s, this money could easily be used to make several films. Taylor won her second Oscar for her role in the psychological drama Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. For this role, Taylor gained 10 kilograms, and then for a very long time could not get rid of them. As a result, the actress began to suffer from depression, which haunted her for the rest of her life. The actress was married 8 times and each of her romances was worthy of a separate film or book. Conrad Nicholson Hilton, heir to the Hilton Empire, became her first husband. The wedding was covered in all media. The bride's dress was subsequently auctioned for $188,000. But the marriage did not last long. Her husband liked to drink and pot a boucheroute. Once he raised his hand on pregnant Taylor, because of the beatings and scandals, she lost the child and filed for divorce. Elizabeth married for the second time 20 days after her divorce. Her chosen one was actor Michael Wilding, whom she stole from Marlene Dietrich. The marriage lasted 5 years. She gave her husband 2 sons, but because of the constant filming almost did not spend time with the family. Her husband thoughtlessly spent, earned her money and did not hide that constantly cheated on her. After leaving her second husband, Taylor remarried a month later. Taylor's third husband was an influential and generous producer, Michael Todd, who was much older than her. Mike and Elizabeth had been together for just over a year. But during that time she managed to give birth to their third and last child, a girl named Liz. In 1958, Mike Todd crashed on his private plane, named Lucky Liz in honor of his wife. At the age of 26, Elizabeth became a widow. She was scared and confused. Mike's best friend Eddie Fisher, who had long been in love with her, was nearby. He would become Liz's 4th husband, and marrying him would bring her the unprecedented wrath of America. The couple lived together for 2 years and then Elizabeth unfortunately fell in love again. Liz quickly became disillusioned with Eddie, but she had no intention of getting a divorce. But filming in the film Cleopatra will turn her life around. While working on the film, Elizabeth suffered a serious illness and for some time was on the verge of life and death. Perhaps her illness pushed her to change. Liz had fallen in love with her colleague, Richard Burton. And now, realizing how short and fragile life is, she no longer wanted to waste it on Eddie. Liz and Richard's affair had rocked society. No relationship in Hollywood history had ever attracted so much attention. Liz became an enemy of the people, even the Vatican condemned her behavior. But Hollywood producers discovered for the first time that bad PR is also PR. Liz did everything she could to marry the man she loved. She persuaded him to divorce her wife and befriended his family. Her titanic efforts made the marriage happen in 1964. Through her efforts they became the richest couple in Hollywood. They worked hard, but also earned millions. Richard gave Liz the biggest burl in the world. Together they bought a yacht and adopted a baby girl. They knew that fame wouldn't last forever and they met her sunset together too. It turned out that endless gossip was easier to bear than ignoring or criticizing. To top it all off, there were health problems, alcohol problems. After 10 years of marriage, Liz and Rich decided they were better off apart. Oddly enough, within a year, they were married again. This was Liz's 6th marriage and it only lasted a year. All her life Elizabeth Taylor, despite all her independence and waywardness, preferred to follow her husband, to adopt his habits and lifestyle. And now, when she met her seventh husband, she did the same. He was John Warner, a politician from Washington. He had a farm, simple and clear ideas of right and wrong. At the age of 44, Liz finally decided to settle down, tying her life to such a man. She became his wife in 1976, and he became a senator in 1979 thanks in large part to her efforts on the campaign trail. Washington received Liz well, but didn't particularly like her. Her life became dull and dragging. She no longer had her own business, nowhere to put her energy. Liz couldn't take it anymore. In 1981, the couple announced their divorce, and Taylor returned to Hollywood. It was the right thing to do. She had a lot of turmoil ahead of her, better to bear it at home. There was Liz and Richard's reunion and then separation again, the struggle with alcohol addiction and overweight, Richard's funeral, Liz's last marriage in 1991 and her final divorce in 1996. Only after going through all this did Liz find a new purpose in life. In 1985, an old friend of hers, actor Rock Hudson, contracted AIDS. Liz sat by his bedside and held his hand. By her example, she proved that it was safe. When Rock was gone, Liz started a campaign to raise money for AIDS research. She herself endured skin cancer and surgery to remove a tumor in her brain, but she never stopped fighting. In 2011, she died at the age of 70. In recent years, the actress practically did not leave the house. Her means of transport was a wheelchair studded with diamonds. She had a rare 56-carat pearl in her collection. The champagne-colored drop-shaped marine beauty was accidentally fished by an unknown slave off the islands of Panama 6 centuries ago. The pearl gave freedom to a slave and traveled a long way, adorning the necks of majestic, cruel and unfortunate persons of royal family, had time to visit Spain, England, Spain again, France, and finally got to the city of dreams, Los Angeles. In the 19th century, when the pearl ended up in France in the possession of Napoleon Bonaparte's nephew Louis, also known as Napoleon III, it received its current name, La Peregrine, which means the wandering pearl. Elizabeth Taylor died in 2011 and all of her jewelry, including the peregrine, was sold at auction and the jewel is now in a private collection. Elizabeth Taylor, the greatest actress of the last century, loved expensive stones. She played with her jewelry like a doll. She would lay it out on her bed and stare at it for long periods of time. And then she would forget to put them away. Missing something as rare as peregrinas could get her into a lot of trouble. Elizabeth had once left a piece of jewelry on a table in her hotel room, and when she put it on, she found it gone. After a long search, Taylor became desperate and sat down in a luxurious armchair, rubbing her temples in frustration, but suddenly she saw something pearly sparkle in her pet's teeth. The pearl had been rescued literally from the dog's mouth.